Okay, so time now when we do some news. Let me tell you about our headlines this morning. CSOs reignite debate on all-inclusive government as a solution to bridging the political divide. And 10 suspected armed robbers nabbed by Obuasi Divisional Police Command, and reports say an outbreak of anthrax in the Upper West region has resulted in a ban on meat products in the Wa municipality. To bring you the details right after this. All right, so welcome to the details of those headlines. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has held discussions with the UN Secretary General's representative for West Africa, Ambassador Said Djennet. The discussion centered on issues of security in the sub-region and the ongoing efforts of ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United Nations in countries to guarantee peace and security. Ambassador Djennet, who is also the head of the UN Office for West Africa, congratulated President Mahama and Ghanaians for the safety of our people and the security of the state after the Supreme Court judgment of August 29. We remain with the United Nations, and they have recommended the 2012 New Patriotic Party presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for the way and manner he handled himself before, during, and after the disputed presidential election, which the Supreme Court said President John Dramani Mahama won. Ambassador Said Djennet, special representative of the Secretary General for West Africa, paid a courtesy call on Nana Akufo-Addo at his residence in Accra to deliver the UN's message of commendation. He said the UN was full of admiration for Nana Akufo-Addo and his followers for choosing the legal option after dispute over the 2012 election and not plunging Ghana into chaos as it was witnessed in other African countries. And we're still talking politics. Now, the rationale behind the huge lobby pushing for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to stand unopposed as the NPP's 2016 presidential candidate is that if you want democracy without strategy, then you don't want power. And that is in quotation. Chairman of Ashanti region of the opposition New Patriotic Party, FF Anto, says the executives have declared support for Nana Akufo-Addo's third bid at the presidency after losing out in 2008 and 2012. The lobbying started immediately after the Supreme Court dismissed an election petition filed by the NPP to unseat President John Mahama as the legitimate winner of the December 2012 presidential elections. Nana Addo was first petitioner in the 8-month-long hearing. In the wake of the defeat, the 2012 flag bearer said he was taking some time off the hurly-burly of politics, unquote, and will define his political future soon. But speaking on Joy News, NPP National Chairman Jacob Echebi-Lamte says he has, quote, never seen any bar in the Constitution, and, quote, dispelling rumors that the party's constitution could hinder the NPP stalwart from contesting the third time. And the Civic Forum Initiative and the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, are advocating an all-inclusive government. CODEO believes this will open up the executive branch of government. According to the group, monopoly in the executive has created a system where a huge part of the population feel excluded in governance.
Civil society believes an all-inclusive government will go a long way to improve Ghana's democracy, which has been tested in recent times during the death of Professor John Atta Mills and the challenge to the legitimacy of President Mahama. According to Executive Director of IDEC, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, the winner-takes-all reforms being advocated are to get more members of the executive elected.
The executive is a monopoly. And there isn't enough democracy there. It's only the president who is elected. Go around the world and see all democracies that are making progress. Elections are held in the legislative branch and in the executive branch. But here, it's only one person, the whole executive. Only the president is elected. So it tells you there's a problem with the design. You rather have to reform the monopoly. Open it up in a way through the law and other places that gives others the opportunity to be more inclusive, because this system is creating polarization and is weakening our cohesion.
The Civic Forum Initiative and Cordeyo say the positive tone set by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is greatly responsible for the prevailing peace the country has been enjoying after the Supreme Court verdict. The group is calling on everyone to emulate the exemplary and inspiring conduct of both Nana Akufo-Addo and President Mahama. Senior Research Fellow of CFI, Dr. Kwesi Jonah, indicated dialogue and persuasion are tools being used to change attitudes and call for reforms.
The state uses coercion, force. That is why the state has a military force, a police force, court system, all of which are intended to give the state enough coercive powers. Civil society is different. I am sure that so many people misunderstand the way in which civil society operates, and they think they can operate like a state. Go and force the person, as we do not do that. And so in a case like what has just happened, criticism of a particular Supreme Court judge, it is important for civil society to make its views known in the public domain so that another person is not tempted. You could go to the person privately, it doesn't work.
CFI and Cordeyo again say it is important for the Supreme Court to publish a user-friendly version of the written judgment in order for citizens to understand it. They advise the media to be responsible and not to engage politicians in discussions that are bound to heighten tensions and undermine our peace and security in these fragile times.
Now, the Upper West Regional Security Council has placed an indefinite ban on the movement, sale and slaughtering of all four-legged animals in the Wa municipality due to an outbreak of anthrax there. The Upper West Regional Veterinary Officer, Dr. Paul Polkum, who disclosed this to an Accra-based radio station, said the ban is to protect people from contracting the disease and prevent its spread among animals. He said his outfit has received 10,000 out of the 30,000 doses it requires to commence mass vaccination of animals in the Wa municipality. Dr. Polkum added that veterinary officers have been drawn from all districts in the region to come and help carry out the exercise. He called on government and philanthropists to urgently help in providing the remaining 20,000 doses of the vaccines needed to complete the exercise. In a rather worrying one person has died and another is in critical condition after they took a herbal concoction at Agroesum in the Amansia West district of the Ashanti region. The herbal preparation known as Shishenyame typhoid mixture is currently on the market and is suspected to contain substances which are harmful to consumers. Food and Drugs Authority officials told Love News the medicine, distributed by one Dr. Adade, is produced at Eburi in the eastern region. Manager Vigil Pra Eshon says it bears a fake FDA number and cautions the public to desist from buying and drinking the fatal medicine. He also urges people to be on the lookout for Shishenyame typhoid mixture on the market and report to the nearest FDA office for action. We still remain with the Food and Drugs Authority, and they are appealing to manufacturers of Burkina, a local Ghanaian drink, to desist from using fresh milk since it has several health implications. Officials have thus directed manufacturers of Burkina to opt for processed liquid or powdered milk since its safety is guaranteed.
Over 20 Burkina producers, mostly females, participated in the one-day workshop. They were taken through the various stages of Burkina production, storage, sanitation, disease control, food poisoning, and distribution. The call for the use of already treated milk became rife following concerns that the usage of fresh milk, when not handled well, could lead to food poisoning.
The powdered milk is safer because it's dry. You can handle it And because it's dry, it's a dry product, it's dry and powdery, you could easily handle it. You can keep it under room temperature conditions and all that. Anytime you want to produce, you just take a little and then mix it with water and then you are good to go. Other than fresh milk where you have to keep it under very cold temperature conditions and things. And if you don't have those kinds of conditions, then the risk of contamination of the fresh milk is very high. So we would advise the women to use the powdered milk rather.
Officials are concerned that most of the Burkina producers do not have the technical know-how of preventing contamination of fresh milk, which backs calls for them to use processed milk instead.
The fresh milk, the dangers is that you are taking the fresh milk probably from the farm. Do you have any facility or any medium by which you carry the fresh milk to the house? And the fresh milk is sad that we all know what milk is. It has high nutrient content, so it easily gets contaminated. So the only way that you can maintain the quality of the fresh milk is to reduce the temperature as much as possible to inactivate bacteria, to prevent rapid growth which can cause poison. Or you heat it, we call something pasteurization, you heat it within a specific temperature and time to kill bacteria. But even that, even if you kill bacteria, you are supposed to maintain it at a specific temperature to ensure that you don't have the growth of bacteria again. And it will be difficult for these women. How are they going to transport the milk from the farm to the house?
One of the Burkina producers, Amadou Suleimana, explained how he prefers using processed milk.
Powdered milk is good, and most of the time it has already been processed, everything. Concerning with the cow milk aspect, it depends on how you yourself prepares it, because normally we know cow is needed for TB, and then if the cow has any disease and then you use the milk to prepare your Burkina, definitely people will fall sick and then bring it on you. The company is going to collapse.
The second phase of the training by the Food and Drugs Authority will be extended to producers in other areas, including Ashaiman.
In the following report, we tell you about how 10 suspected armed robbers were nabbed by the Obuasi Police Command.
In June this year, about 10 robbers robbed SDLG, a heavy equipment company owned by some Chinese, and made away with over 250,000 Ghana cedis and other valuable items. Police in the area have managed to arrest 6 of them. 4 vehicles, including a Nissan Rogue 4x4, Infiniti 4x4, BMW 5 Series, and an Opel Astra saloon car, were retrieved from them. The suspects include Steven Nyamnyele, Elias America, Kwame Buedu Isaac, Kwame Nyame, Jamel Yakubu, Gordon Sasu, and Suraj. 30-year-old Kasim Musa has also been convicted and sentenced to 8 years in prison for stealing a quantity of gold valued at 43,100 Ghana cedis belonging to Abubakar Fuseni, who was shot in the leg whilst a security man was killed in an attack by robbers. At a press briefing, police believe all the suspects mentioned are linked to Samson Chrome Gold robbery. 26-year-old Kwabna Pia has also been arrested at Insuem in connection with a robbery incident at Asonkore, a suburb of Obuasi.
On 1st June 2013, about 10 young men armed with guns robbed SDLG, a heavy equipment company owned by Chinese, and made away with over 250,000 Ghana cedis, equivalent to $39,600, and other valuables. 5 of the robbers have been arrested, and they have admitted of various roles they played in the robbery. 4 vehicles have so far been retrieved from them. They told investigators the vehicles were bought from the proceeds of the robbery.
Kwabna and 5 other accomplices succeeded in robbing a guest and 3 other residential homes of 10,000 Ghana cedis, jewelry, mobile phones and other valuable items in July this year. 3 other suspects are on remand at the Jakobo Police Command assisting with investigation. Obuasi Divisional Police Commander ACP Kofi Jumfor Beche said new strategies have been introduced to create sense of discomfort for criminals in the municipality. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report from the Ashanti region.
Now, the director for the Ministry of Roads and Highways is appealing for public patience over the 2-year period it will take to complete the new Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange.
The Kwame Nkrumah Circle is one of the most congested in the capital, with thousands of vehicles plying it daily. In order to reduce congestion on the road, works have begun to reconstruct it to a 3-level flyover. According to Director for the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Abbas Mohammed Awolo, any inconvenience that will be caused during the 2-year period estimated for its completion will be minimized by proper diversions.
Obviously, you have the stage that you might need to close the entire carriageway. Then you need to look at diversions and all those ones. Maybe people now going to the west, you need to divert through Abeno, come in front of the ECG office, Otublohum, then back to the New Time Junction. And for all the roads that we'll be using as diversion routes, as part of the contract, they are going to reconstruct them. We'll do everything possible to ensure that those diversion routes are properly prepared. We wouldn't divert people onto gravel roads. As part of the contract, we are diverting people onto roads that are going to be paved, so that dust nuisance or any other things can be minimized.
When works are completed, a bridge will link the new town in Sawam Road to Accra. The Akasanoma Road around the Calvary Baptist Church towards Accra New Town will also be linked by another bridge across the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. A 3rd bridge will connect the Ring Road and Fanofa Bridge across the railway line, the Odor River and the New Times intersection before moving to the ground level just after the SNED building along the Ring Road. There will be no need for motorists to use the Ring Road when moving towards Neoplan or Odona because they will be linked by a new bridge which will also be connected to Otublohum near the ECG. So, in the midst of this magnificent design aimed at the convenience of motorists, what becomes of the pedestrian?
Because the main movement will be above the current road level. It means that in terms of safety for pedestrians, you can cross, though we shall have dedicated crossing points, you can actually cross the road without coming into conflict with a vehicle because the vehicles will be above us. They will have. So the pedestrians now will walk at grade and the vehicles are actually lifted above pedestrians.
Another cause for concern is the road widenings that may cause damage to underground cables of telecommunications network providers like Glo, MTN and Vodafone. But Mr. Awolo tells me they have already begun the tedious work of relaying cables further away from the main carriageway. According to him, the project will not be delayed because it is a turnkey contract with total funding. The project, which is funded with a loan from the Brazilian government, is being executed by Queiroz Galvar, a Brazilian company with an estimated amount of 74 million euros.
And that's it for the AM News. Our top stories is our CSOs reignite debate on an all-inclusive government as a solution to bridging the political divide. 10 suspected armed robbers have been named by Obuasi Divisional Police Command, and reports say an outbreak of anthrax in the Upper West region has resulted in a ban on meat products in the Wa municipality. Rashida Baba Kadiri is standing by with the AM Sports.
You're welcome back. So everything is almost set for that big game between Ghana and Zambia for the World Cup qualifier to Brazil 2014. Now, as we speak, the team has arrived in Kumasi. They actually touched down yesterday via the Kumasi airport. Now, immediately on arrival, they went straight to the Kumasi orphanage where they went to interact with some of the kids there.
The national team players and their coaches went straight to the Kumasi Children's Home soon after arriving in the Garden City from Accra ahead of Friday's crucial 2014 World Cup qualifying clash against Zambia. Coach Kwesi Appiah, Captain Asamoah Gyan and Michael Layson presented the items to the children in the presence of other players. As part of the mission to give back to society, the Black Stars normally visit orphanages to encourage the kids and give them material support. The Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II brought forward his visit to the Black Stars camp ahead of Friday's crucial 2014 World Cup qualifier. Otumfuo was originally scheduled to visit the Black Stars during the last training session at the Babera Sports Stadium tomorrow, but paid a visit after the team's training this evening because of some urgent changes in his schedule.
So that was what happened at the Kumasi Children's Home. Now let's go to other stories, but still on the Black Stars. Now every player, 26 of them in camp currently, and that's going to be a very big headache for Kwesi Appiah as he chooses his first 11 and who sits on the bench. Now some of the players are telling us that they understand the competition in the team, and so they have nothing to do than to give off their best. Mahatma Otu has been speaking to Joy Sports on that particular subject.
Well, as a player, I have to do my best during the training section so that, well, if I'm started on Friday, I'll be well prepared. As you can see, I'm giving out my best in the training section. So if the coach starts me, I think every player here can, when started, is ready to give up the best to serve our motherland. So when I'm called upon to serve my motherland on Friday in the starting lineup, I'm well ready.
What kind of shape do you think you are in right now?
Well, as you can see, I'm giving my very best training level, and at club level, I've managed to enter the first team, so I think I'm in very good shape.
We still look ahead to that game, and there are some emerging developments about Zambia not being able to get to touchdown in Kumasi, and the Zambian FA accused the Kumasi airport authorities for not clearing the team to land in Kumasi. But we're hearing from Zamfoot crew that they chartered a plane which was supposed to refuel in Congo DR, but they failed to get clearance for that to be done. And that's the main issue why Zambia has still not arrived in Ghana. And they're saying that there are no mind games here. They had already been informed in advance that Kumasi Airport does not operate at night. So the pilot could not be given clearance by Ghana Aviation to fly from Zambia at that late hour they wanted to depart. So, of course, Zambia still going on with all the mind games, and let's see if they can arrive here today, because the game is just tomorrow. Remember that there will be live commentary of that game on Joy 99.7 FM. We take over the airwaves at exactly 3 p.m. and also on all our Joy Sports platforms, on TV, on radio, and on online. You should stay tuned because we'll bring you that game live. And also, let's just do a quick wrap on tennis and the US Open. Azarenka has eased into the semi-finals. We have also seen Rafael Nadal destroying Spaniard Tommy Robredo, and he has gone into the semi-finals as well. The next person is Murray, who is going to face Stanislav Wawrinka. That's what's happening in the latest of the US Open. Catch us at 6:45 on Joy 99.7 for the Joy Sports Center. Alternatively, you can log on to the sports page on myjoyonline.com to check out details of all of these stories and more. My name is Rashida Baba Kadiri. Sports on the AM show is proudly sponsored by Tigo. Smile, you've got Tigo.